Welcome to the squad. He's Icewater, I'm Puma, and the squad is sponsored by Rayon Cognac. Join the movement. Check our ticker for information to get in contact to get you a bottle or two or 10. And also a number to contact us if you want to be a sponsor on one of our shows right here on Chocolate 108.1. We're going to be talking about March Madness. Of course, we're going to be talking about some NBA news, some NFL news. We're going to be talking about other news in our segment, our last second shot. But today is the day, man. It's Christmas for a lot of us. It's Election Sunday. And, bruh, it's going to be some hurt teams because Miami of Ohio lost, of course. And so two teams from that conference may get into the tournament, which is going to leave one of the bubble teams out of the tournament. Some people are talking about Auburn, teams of that sort. So it's going to be very interesting. But this has been one of the most exciting years, and there's more excitement to come in this tournament. I feel it because once you think a team, we were riding on Florida for a little while, then Florida gets blown out. In their game, we were riding on UConn gets blown out. We're riding on different teams. Everybody's really jumping on Duke. I saw some flaws in Duke's game last night. Virginia could have very well, if they didn't turn over the ball so much and really kind of hit those free throws, I think they would have won that game. But I see a number of flaws in the top five teams that, I'm not sure who to pick at this particular point. I'm basically going to be holding my nose and picking somebody to win it all because I'm not sure, brother. Your thoughts on this?
No, I get that. The only thing I'm sure probably right now is we can look at which will probably be the top four seeds, right? We expect Duke to be the number one seed in the East, Michigan, the number one seed in the Midwest, Arizona, the number one seed in the West, and more than likely it's probably going to be Florida in the South.
Mm-hmm.
So we know that, or at least I can't see anything to be much different. Other than that, it's just, as you said, it's been topsy-turvy. There's a lot of back and forth. And just when you thought your team was safe and they were going to make a run, they lose and they disappoint you, which makes for great basketball. So the question you have to ask yourself now is, how do you figure out what's going on? Who's going to make that run for that 6-game run to become champion? And
Who
for
is,
go ahead.
who is the team that you see are the spoilers in this tournament? Because I'm looking at Wisconsin and
Mhm.
their guard play, and we always say guard play makes a big difference in the tournament. And I'm looking at Illinois. Me and Drake, one of our squad members, we were talking about it the other day. And Illinois' guards we thought were going to be tough enough to kind of handle, some of the big time teams. But we see that once you become more physical with them, Wagler, he's a freshman. He still needs a little bit of time to really mature. Once you become more physical with them, and I noticed that they can't guard the paint. Wisconsin is out of the Big Ten is really kind of showing me a lot, as well as Arkansas, as well as Purdue. They're going to be playing later against Michigan. What are some of the teams that you could see that will be spoilers that after the first round, you're tearing up your sheet?
Even those teams are a little higher seed, probably like a 5 seed. I'm gonna piggyback off what you said. I think Arkansas as a 5 seed can be very dangerous. Depending what region you put them in, they have everything. They're athletic. I talked about them earlier in the year. They play hard. They can play with anybody. The only issue that they have from time to time is, I think, is basketball IQ. And I think that's where the coach should step up and kind of rein them in. But if you're just talking about, let's just run out pure basketball, athletic, like what is Brazil, one of the top guys in here, they can go to the hole, big guy that can shoot the ball. They are loaded like that. They play good tempo-based basketball, and they play hellified defense when they're on. I think Arkansas is a team, depending on where they're at, too, that can make some moves. What I was surprised, too, by the factor that now, after one loss, it appears, as you said, Miami of Ohio may be one to be playing in Dayton as a playing team as an 11 seed.
Mm.
trying to advance from that standpoint. I saw that. But another team that you mentioned, and when you say kind of like an underdog, I say the underdog because of the factor that when you think about who's going national championship, I don't think that people put them in the mindset, and they're as high as a two seed. And to me, particularly if they're in the East, is Iowa State.
I've
I
always
like them.
liked them. I've always liked them.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. Iowa State. I think Iowa State has one. They have the size, they have the guard play, and they play strong. They're very physical. And I think that's going to be a really difficult matchup for a lot of teams. And what the reason why I mentioned Iowa State as a sleeper is because if you watch the brackets, if you understand the brackets, the number one seed is up here, and in the same region, the number two seed is down on the bottom. And when you watch that as a number two seed, the way that Iowa State may be able to move around, they might be able to shoot through the first three rounds because they're that good. The same thing too, as I mentioned to you before, and I'm about to give it away. I'm gonna technically give it away. I'm just gonna tell you the secret. People don't understand. It don't matter. You don't know who I'm picking yet. But as I told people before, I think Houston is going to be the number two seed in the South, right? So they play their first two games and they probably get through. But what they did was Houston was supposed to be the host school for the Houston bracket, okay? Which means third and fourth round, playing for the Sweet 16, going to Sweet 16 and the Elite Eight, right? They're supposed to be the host school. So when you're the host school, that means you can't play in the area like Houston could not play in Houston.
right.
What Houston did was they relinquished their rights to host in Houston. Rice, which is right in the same area, I believe that to be true. Rice is now hosting the Houston area. So what that means is, and y'all can say what y'all want, I'm telling you straight out, this, you can look it up. If Houston wins their first two games, right? If they make it to play for going towards the Sweet 16 and the Elite Eight, they play in Houston. Home game, basically, because they relinquished their rights.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past the committee doing something really strange and sending them somewhere else. that
Nah,
wouldn't
you
even happen.
can't. Yeah, but you can't do that because you could, but you're gonna catch hell in the handbasket. And if they do that, Houston has been close enough to be a one seed. The other part of it too, I'm just gonna keep it 100 committee. Y'all want to see some stuff coming on? There's no way in heck you're not gonna catch. You would be able to run away from anything about that race card. Because they're going to say, you let Duke or somebody else over here, you always take care of them, making sure they're in the East.
They're
But yeah,
playing
you're going to take
Charlotte.
Kelvin Sampson, the hardcore, whatever, cussing, spitting, uh, grabbing guys from around the way. You're going to treat them differently. You will never hear the end of that. So, no, I think Houston's going to be right where they are in Houston.
Well, two teams that I really like that are really hot is St. John's and Virginia. I said that last week about Virginia. I think they're a good team. Their guard play is great. St. John's, they are playing that terrorizing defense that Coach Pitino really likes, and they got up in UConn. And I didn't think that could happen in the championship, the Big East championship, but that's what happened. Winning by 20. So I like those teams. I'm not sure about Kansas. They're 5-6 in their last 11, and so they look like a team that could make some noise, but I'm not sure they're going to be able to do it. And another team that cooled off that I really like that we mentioned is Iowa State. They're 5-5 in the last 10, and so it really kind of you really have to look at the brackets and see who they're going to be matched up against to see
Mhm.
whether or not they can get to the 32, the 16, and the 8 based on the region that they're in and the competition they're playing. But any given game, it could be a toss up. And I think I mentioned that in our group chat with the squad. I'm like, this is a toss up right here. this is this is something that whoever wins will probably be lucky. And I think it might be a team that probably never won before that gets in. We thought Michigan State. I thought Michigan State earlier this year. They're 6-4 in their last 10. So they're taking bumps and bruises even getting to March Madness. And you really, there's no front runner. All the folks that are talking about Duke, okay, they're hot, 10-1 in their last 11 games, but I'm not sure that once you start putting pressure on those guards, because that's what the Achilles heels I think is for Duke, their guards, and to push Boozer out of spots on the floor. I haven't said that all year, but I've been noticing all year he likes certain spots on the floor, and the only two teams that beat them pushed him off those spots, and it threw his field goal percentage off. So every player like Bernard King back in the day, all these players like certain spots on the floor. Once you get them off those spots, whether you play a zone or you have a physical big man to contend with him, that will be the difference in beating Duke, in my opinion.
No, I agree with that. I can see that. And we'll see really how they react. Because as you said, at times, sometimes they look just unstoppable. But then you watch against North Carolina, who maybe just because it's a rivalry or some other things going on, they just know how to play them. I think that goes a long way with you studying film and watching how these teams play. Same could be said about Michigan, right? Michigan is up and down, and sometimes you see how things go, see how that moves, and they maybe be able to be contained. Getting back real quick to that point about Michigan State, I agree 100%. Michigan State is the team earlier in the year that beat Arkansas, the team I mentioned before, and they have ups and downs. They lose to UCLA.
Yeah.
UCLA that was kind of shocking. UCLA is getting one of their best players back for the tournament. But the biggest thing for me with Michigan State is the factor that there's a possibility that Michigan State could be a two seed. Are they worthy?
That I don't
Are they
know.
worthy? Two seed? Are they worthy?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's I've seen enough of them that they can be good, but I've seen them lose a lot of games too. I mean, blowouts. And I'm like, how, if that's the case, you mean to tell me with all of these teams out here, there's nobody better than they can't, there's a lot of teams that don't deserve that two seed instead of them?
Yeah, yeah, you're dead on that. Buckle your seatbelts, folks. It's going to be a wild ride for the next 3 weeks. We are all competing with the squad members, and so we'll give you updates on who is leading in our March Madness challenge. So we're getting that squared away. Let's go to NFL news, man. We talked about this a little bit offline, and, and I'm gonna say this, and hide your kids, hide the women or anything, because I'm gonna get a little vocal here and a little vulgar here. Las Vegas Raiders, y'all ain't shit. Y'all try to give damaged goods to the Ravens, knowing that guy was hurt, and then give all the information. And you got cheating Tom Brady, who comes from Bill Mumbles Belichick, and coming from Robert Happy Ending Kraft. It's the same corruption that the Patriots had. He's taking it over to the Raiders. It's almost like the beginning of the Goodfellas movie where you're naming all the different guys that are part of the mafia or whatever. And it's like, well, how do you think you can get away with this again, man? There's a reason why they're not letting you guys in the Hall of Fame. I hope they keep Tom Brady out first ballot. I really do, because I know that the Raiders are trying to set themselves up for draft picks and rebuilding the team and all that stuff. And it looks really good on paper. It really does. It really looks good on paper. And if they could have pulled this caper off, it would have really looked good. But I just, no matter what the Raiders do, and I've been watching Raiders for a long time, since the 70s, they're going to find a way to screw this up. They're going to find a way to screw this up. They may get caught some scandal or whatever. It's Tom Brady, folks. It's Tom cheating Brady. Okay, and he's bringing some of those same ways of Robert Kraft and Bill Belichick. He's bringing some of those same ways to the Raiders, and it's not going to end well. Your thoughts on this, man?
We know we had a major discussion off air about this, and I'm glad you got out your frustrations or your whatever you call that you just said it. I agree where they hid information about Crosby and the surgery and all that other stuff, but I see it a little differently. Now, as you mentioned, I'm talking about the paper aspect. Everything that's on paper does not mean that it's gonna work, right? You look good on paper. I might be a better on time. You see the talent on paper. You think, oh man, they loaded, right? So I'm gonna go from that aspect. Are they going to do anything much? I'm talking about the Raiders. I'm not talking about that. Puma's already covered that. Now I'm gonna go back to what they look like on paper. Okay. So you think about it from that standpoint, they picked up two quality linebackers, which they need to really help on that too. So almost two starting linebackers from that standpoint. They also received a starting center that they got from Baltimore, the same team that they had issues with. So they got a center from Baltimore, right? You put along the center from Baltimore, along with bringing back the running back Ashton Genty, right? You also got Brock Bowers at tight end. Now you said you're gonna go out and get Fernando Mendoza, quarterback from Indiana. Now we starting to slowly build some things up too. And then with that standpoint, you bring back Max Crosby. Now, granted, he was damaged goods, but let me tell you, and I told Puma this earlier, he had surgery in January. But with him having surgery, they wanted to do the quick fix where they clean it out and repair your whatever the issue is, and then you go back out and play. Or you can have a total repair where the issue was, which is what happened with Crosby. So he had the whole repair, and now it's going to take him a little longer to heal. But with that being said, him being young, that means he's less likely to get hurt. And I will say this, and I don't know what it was or how they ran through it. He was mad. He didn't want to go back to the Raiders and pitch at the Raiders. Then all of a sudden, he have a discussion. He goes, "Well, maybe it ain't so bad over here. I'm gonna go back over there." And now they're not talking about no trades. Everybody on the same page. We can do this. We can do that. And now, as long as you let him heal properly, you might have he might get back to the superstar status where he was at. So on paper, let me finish before you jump in
Okay,
here.
okay, okay, okay.
Look, on paper, Matt Crosby coming back. I'm not so mad at that because, truth be told, Baltimore went out and picked up Henderson from the Bengals, and I think that is they went lower. It was a lower it's lower hanging fruit because I wasn't really that impressed with Henderson over in Cincinnati. All he did was complain, complain. Crosby gonna come to play if he's healthy. So Raiders on paper, right now I'm like, I see you, Tom. Like,
That's
let me finish. I see you, Tom. And I'm like this. I don't know what you're gonna do. You might mess it up, as Boomer said. You probably will. But right now, I'm looking on paper like, shit, this and that and that. Hey, and Crosby coming back too. And you got a whole. So we cleared out, got rid of Dino Smith, got rid of the head coach, got rid of the Tuda Dewey, Tuda Dumb, if you want to, as the offensive coordinator. Clear that out, and now we're ready to go. We got a quarterback. We blocking for him. So on paper now, on paper, I'm sitting there going like, damn. All right, Raiders.
so if you knew it was going to be a slow process to bring him back and you really value Crosby, and that he would come back to be the player you projected him to be, you would have never tried to trade him in the first place. And that's why I started my statement out with the Raiders ain't shit. They know this guy is not going to get back to where he was before, even at a young age. And the Baltimore Ravens sniffed it out and said, nah, this guy is not, no matter how long it takes, this guy is not going to get back. Because the doctors know this guy is not going to get back to where you thought, because you wouldn't get rid of him if you knew that, hey, we're going to wait a little bit more time. We're going to invest in you. No, the Raiders tried to pull a fast one and they got caught. They got caught. And so if he's that valuable, you never get rid of him. Hey, we're going to be patient with you. You're our guy, blah, 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 blah. Because the Raiders, that's what they do. They will be patient with the misfits of the league. They didn't do that. They try to pull a fast one. They are trying to do the exact same thing that the Patriots used to do with players that they couldn't use anymore, and they would give away and get all these draft picks and all this other stuff. Tom Brady learned well, but you got caught cheating, Tom Brady. You got caught because this guy is damaged goods, and I do not believe, and I'll come back and apologize if I'm wrong. I do not believe he's going to be that same player they projected him to be because they try to give him away and try to put a fast one and get draft picks to continue to build that team. Now they got to save face and get him back, and now they got to wait. I don't think they'll wait. I think that there's another team that is that is dumb enough to make a trade with the Raiders on this guy. I do not believe he's going to. They saw something. They saw something when we talked about it. We talked about it in just last week. We're like, okay, they made this trade. This may be good for the Ravens, but the Ravens are trying to win right now. And they knew with the injury this guy had, they couldn't do it with him. He would not be a part of that. And they're like, we're backing out of this. Give us our draft picks back, and we're gonna get somebody else that can help us, next season and the season after that. But they try to pull a fast one, and it's out of the playbook of happy ending Kraft and Mumbles Belichick. It's out of their playbook. The Giants used to do the same thing with Belichick. I've seen this pattern before. They'll give away damaged goods, cover it up, and then the player is not worth anything when the other team gets it.
Yeah, my last words on this. I hear you, but only time will tell.
Yeah.
I
Hold
understand
me
what
to
you're
it.
saying.
Hold me to it, folks. If I'm
Oh, we gonna do that. We gonna do that.
But the
We're
Raiders
gonna
ain't
do
shit.
that.
Y'all ain't shit. Y'all wrong for that.
Hey, we're gonna hold you to it. All I'm saying is Baltimore has been known for some shady deals too. You go back and look at their last couple of deals, put out a few deals. It's not the first time they've done this. So we'll see about Henderson. All I'm saying to you is when you look at Tom Brady and how oh boy came back, it's like, all right, if you and the other thing too, I'll say this real quick. I think one of the reasons why the Raiders, as you say, were being shady and was quickly trying to get rid of Crosby is the fact that Crosby was demanding a trade. He wanted out. He said he won't be there no more. So they go, all right, well, if we can get something for you and you don't want to be here too, hell yeah, we're going to get rid of you. And I think if somebody does not want to be somewhere, you look at the Bengals. Henderson was the same way, complaining. He ain't this, and the Bengals are cheap as hell. We give you that, right? I give you
Oh,
that. Yeah, I give you that. But all he did was complain. He didn't even show up at the time. He was hurt. He was over here. Then he mad. Then he want to play. He want to do this and that. So he finally got his wish, right? So I'm not really that particular on him. But the point of it is, for me, is if a guy said he don't want to be there no more, and you can call slick, Tom, whatever, and I give you that. But dude tell you don't want to be there, why am I holding you around? So we try to get rid of you. Okay?
Now it's kumbaya. Oh,
yeah, well, that ain't kumbaya. The reality of it is not kumbaya. The reality of it is this. You are damaged goods. You know, we both know that. Where else you going? Get your ass back in the room. Get back in the room because we're going to be all right. Guess what? Now you come to your senses. You go, well, damn, they didn't want me. I thought they was good. You over there showing pictures of the new stadium when you coming in, flying in. They got your jersey already hanging out. Dude, what the? You know where you belong. Don't know. And it's like this. It's like your parents go, well, I'm going to go over here over with Uncle John.
I'm
said,
run
I know he'll appreciate me. Yeah, he go, I'm going somewhere else. He was like, boy, don't nobody, Uncle John don't want you. He going to be dealing with you for 2 weeks and kick your ass out. You coming back home. So guess what? Old boy came on back home. Right? He said, man, get your ass back over here. And he goes, I had to talk to my family. I had to talk to my circle. And they think along with the Raiders that it's best that I come back and do what I got to do. And now I want to be a Raider for life. Man, get the fuck out of here. I'm trying to tell you. I'm telling you.
Wait till they put them on waivers after a certain time.
And I'm cool with that if they do. But what I'm saying to you is sometimes you might be feeling yourself and think you better than what you are. And he might, talent-wise, he might have been a superstar, whatever he would be, when he's healthy. But when you damage goods and you was excited to go over here and they showed you, nah, man, if you was, we don't know. Sometimes you just gotta walk your tail back over to where you was and be glad that somebody still wants you. Mom and them look at you like, look at it. Sitting on the porch looking at it like, what you want? Mama's trying to see if I could, come back home. That's what it is. I'm trying to tell you. It's like, look, all right, you can come back under these conditions. I don't know why you got to take that talk when you get that talking back too. I don't know why you was trying to leave in the first damn place. Get us back in the house.
All right. Let's go to my one of my favorite little guys. Kyler Murray ends up with
Woo.
the Minnesota Vikings. I thought he was going to go play baseball. I wouldn't have been mad at him if he did. And you seem to believe that this is a good spot for him. I don't know. I guess he's going to be there with Jefferson, and whether or not he gets to play or not, I don't know if he's still hurt. I don't know if next week we'll be, on the show talking about the Minnesota Vikings pulled out the deal because he's there was good. I don't know, but if he wants to play, I can't think of another team that a better team than the Minnesota Vikings who have all the. It seems like they have all the tools to make a run in that division and to make the playoffs. And it sounds like they need another player there because maybe they're not too sure about JJ McCarthy.
Yeah, I think when you look at that from that standpoint, the big issue for a lot of times, I think it was Darnold that was there, right?
It was Darnold that was there. He went to Seattle, won a Super Bowl, and
Right, right,
they
right, right, right.
misstepped on that. They really misstepped on that.
And that's why a lot of blame from that transaction and that trade or whatever happened, how it transpired, people were really down on the general manager, which is why he was let go. So we had a guy right there. He goes to go to Seattle. He leaves to go to Seattle, and when they win the Super Bowl, it's like, where were you thinking? Because you like JJ McCarthy. So now, with that being said, McCarthy's been. I think he still has a lot to learn. I think he is an NFL quarterback. I just think you threw him into a situation that he maybe was not ready for. And if you think about Kyler Murray, if he's healthy, whatever that is right now, we don't know what that is for him. But if he's healthy, he can throw the ball. And the one thing that was frustrating for Jefferson is he did not think he was getting the ball enough, or he wasn't. If he was open, it wasn't nobody could deliver him the ball.
Right.
And they have some other assets at running back. I think they have a pretty good tight end. So with the right leader in the right situation, they can be decent. And they showed you that a couple times. You watch the games overseas, you go, damn, is that the Vikings? So I think the potential is there. Question is, what Tyler Murray are we going to see? And when he's on and he's somewhat healthy and he's moving and he's running and he's firing that ball, he's a problem. So if I'm Minnesota, I'm more excited to have him in camp to two things. I think can be a quality quarterback when he's healthy. And the other thing too is going to push JJ McCarthy to to bring his game up.
Yeah.
If he wants to play, he has to raise his game up. If not, you're going to be holding the clipboard.
Yeah. Another move that happened that I understand, but I don't. Seattle's supposed to be selling their team if they haven't sold it already. But you give away your Super Bowl MVP Walker to the Kansas City Chiefs. What are you doing? What are you doing? Explain this to me, I don't understand.
That when you look at it from that standpoint, I don't know why they did it. Oh, yes, I do. I think I know why. Remember, Walker was replacing an injured running back, right? He
True.
really wasn't originally the starter. So he comes in, takes over, has amazing contributions, and maybe they're banking on this guy that was in front of him to rebound and come back. Where Walker just took advantage of a situation. Kansas City was playing Pacheco and 1-2 punch that they needed, Hunt. So they said, hey, forget it. Let's go on and do this thing. So now, young guy, running hard, solid. Why not? Then you come back with Mahomes is going to be ready to go.
And
Kelsey
Travis
one more.
said, I'm gonna do it one more time.
Yeah,
One more time.
yeah. And then two, try it didn't hurt that enemy coming back
Oh,
home.
yeah.
Yeah, bring the band back together. Now
Like,
we got to run
like
back. Yeah,
reloading. And here we
yeah.
go.
Decent
Wow.
tight end too. They need to work on the defense now. They need to put that back together. But offensively, people are excited now. Like, what? Okay. I mean, so from that standpoint, I agree with you 100%. I think that Seattle, I think once you win the Super Bowl, you start saying, well, we cut costs, right? Because they brought back the wide receiver that they signed late out of Jacksonville, right? Brought him back, signed him to a longer term deal. But once you win, you start cutting things back because you're like, oh, well, we could be okay with this. But on the other hand, Kansas City was like, yeah, we can do this. So I know they're excited. I'm excited for them.
Yeah, and Evans goes to the San Francisco 49ers and gives them, a 1-2 punch at the tight end position. Their tight end went down last year, which I think really hurt their chances in getting far in the playoffs. But Evans was saying he wasn't really happy with the coach Todd Bowles, and I don't believe I believe that he's not the only one that's not happy with the coaching of Todd Bowles.
I could possibly see that one because I think it was some confusion, particularly at wide receiver. You had a bunch of guys in and out all year long. You still had you had McMillan over there that got hurt with the neck injury, right? Went down. Then Ibuka stepped up doing this thing. Then you had was it Goddard? Goddard was over there too. You might have maybe five, six wide receivers. Then you bring back Evans, and while Baker Mayfield was over there slinging the ball, throwing it around, Evans is like, dude, I'm a future Hall of Famer. If you don't know that, I should take precedence in the offense. And maybe he never said anything, but maybe he saw it because when you look at it from the standpoint, one would think that Evans would stay in Florida because one of the tax situation, and he was basically the free money, tax free money from that standpoint because of the state. He said, "The hell with that! I'm going to California now. I'm gonna go play with in this offense with Shanahan, right?
Mhm.
And I'm going to play with a quarterback that needs a receiver that can get down the field. Now, I may not be as fast as I was, but he can still catch that long ball.
Another
So
weapon,
you have,
another weapon.
you have yeah, you have literally changed the outlook of the San Francisco offense. Now, a healthy McCaffrey, dude, all they need is a 1-2 punch, right? You got Kittle will be back and some other things. You that offense, and you add a future Hall of Famer,
Yeah,
party.
and
Yeah,
I misspoke about him being a tight end, a 1-2 punch, but he's big enough to be a tight end.
but you add all those pieces, and now Purdy started looking like almost MVP candidate
Yeah.
because he got so many weapons, and that's the thing. You don't have to focus on one or two guys. You have so many weapons as a quarterback. All you gotta do is manage the game. See, that's the thing. They don't want to put Purdy in position to have to be a superstar to help them save them to win. All you gotta do with all those pieces is move the ball around, be a great game manager, and the pieces work for you. That's it. And that's what I see San Francisco doing right now. They coming back and it's like, oh, and you have to know that Evans was talking to Shanahan, and you know he talking to McCaffrey. McCaffrey's like, man, you need to come on out here, right? Come on out here and get some of this because we're ready to go. Imagine being on the same team with two. You got this next a future Hall of Famer and McCaffrey. Man, you got to be excited about playing with those guys.
Any other moves in the NFL that you want to speak on?
I wanted to see what happens because I don't know what else is going to go out there. What happens with Tua going to the Falcons?
You know what's going to happen to
I
two.
mean, I do, but I'm just saying, who's going to be the last man standing between Tua and Penix?
Well, if I'm not mistaken, they released
Cousins.
Cousins. Yeah, they released Cousins, and
Mhm.
I didn't think that was a good move anyway. They got Penix. They got Tua. They can't stay healthy. You know what's going to happen to those two.
But I understand that. But here's my thing. I said this even a couple years ago. Only reason why I know that because I played fantasy football and I was desperate for players. You got some quality wide receivers over there and a running back. That
Yeah,
London kid,
true,
London, yeah. You got
true.
a couple guys over there. You got a running back. So as a quarterback, you can't just look over there and go, man, this we don't have no talent over here. You got talent. You got rid of Raheem because he said he was ever. I don't know what this coach is going to do. I don't know if they're going to do much better.
No, but
I,
that's all I'm making. The coach, his
yeah,
history with quarterbacks, the quarterbacks
yeah.
can't stay upright. You know what's going to happen to the Falcons.
But again, on paper, it's not because they don't have the talent.
Here we go on paper. On
I'm just,
paper,
you got to start somewhere on paper every year. Hey, you got to start with the beginning at the beginning. Everybody's undefeated. Everybody's excited.
yeah.
Everybody go to the Super Bowl. Come on, man. It's on paper. That's all we got until we move forward with the games. Paper. Let's look at it on paper. And then you can criticize the hell out of me after it evolves and it smash, crashes, smash. I mean, first one go, yeah, you was right. But right now, all we got is paper.
Yeah, yeah. Need I remind you about James Harden? Looks good on paper.
Ah, you ain't right.
When the rubber hits the road,
You ain't right. You
Mongo
ain't right.
Slade.
You ain't right. You are not right. That's all right. Well, look,
Looking,
one day I'm gonna bring your stuff up. That's all right. That's
looking great on paper. MVP. And couldn't bust a grape and still can't bust a grape. I don't understand why teams even just get him for the regular season, trade him for playoffs, and be done with it because he ain't gonna give you nothing in the playoffs. I don't care what team you play on. Let's go to the NBA, man. And here's my pet peeve with the NBA: nobody's watching. Nobody watching. Nobody care. Bam Adebayo puts up 83 points, got put on the line 43 times. It's obvious that there are teams in the NBA that's tanking. Today, I think a game is going to happen with the Golden State Warriors and the Knicks. Most of the Warriors are out, so I don't know if they're tanking too. But it's just ridiculous. Nobody's paying attention because everybody's on college basketball. Nobody cares about the WNBA, whether they settle or not. Nobody cares about the NBA and the spectacular shots of Luka and all that other stuff. Nobody. College basketball has been far and above, so superior this season that nobody else, that the World Baseball Championship, nobody's really paying attention to that. I don't care what Aaron Judge is doing in that. It's not the Yankees. So nobody's paying attention to that. Until college basketball is gone, then maybe people will focus in. But this, to me, 83-point fiasco he did in Miami, getting sent to the free throw line 43 times, was a mess. I didn't watch the game. I wouldn't watch a game like that. I wouldn't watch a game where a player is sitting at the foul line all the time. I can make fouls. I can go outside and make foul shots. I'm not doing that. And so I know people are upset because he surpassed Kobe by 2 points. He's in second behind Wilt Chamberlain. And they kind of looked at it as a farce because the Wizards weren't really playing hard, or they just kept continually fouling him instead of playing good defense. But it was like you saw it on the ticker, and I saw it. I go, okay. Who else is playing in college basketball? Because I don't care. Your thought. Even the UFC last night, nobody knew it was a UFC fight last night. Nobody, because of college basketball in the tournament, conference championships. Nobody paid attention. Didn't care who fought. So your thoughts on Bam's 83?
Bam's 83. It was
Yeah,
83.
that's what I did.
Yeah, well, yeah. But I told you earlier, the issue is, as you mentioned about all they did was fouling, and he shot 43 free throws. Okay, great. But again, it was basketball. I don't know if they were trying. You mentioned about were they forced to make him do that or whatever. But at least they were doing something. We've seen times where people score a lot of points. I ain't gonna say no names. When you start watching the guy, you just looking at he wide open. Oh my God, he's going far. He got 75. You want to at least put your hand up on that motherfucker? You know what I'm saying? I mean, wow. Is this no fair? Where are we at? Are we at the
Obviously,
fair?
they're tanking to me. It's like, who wants to watch that?
I mean, I'm with you, but are we at the fair? This is a 3-point contest? I mean, what we do? You ain't checking this dude. So at least they're fouling him. He has to go to the line. As much ugly as it may be. But I'm not watching going, man, he's one hell of a player. That's why I told you before, I have more respect, or I grew to have more respect for Jordan getting over the Jordan rules and the bad boys because they was beating the hell out that dude. He earned everything he had. Even Larry Bird said when Jordan dropped 60 plus on them, he goes, this dude is amazing. He's amazing. He said, but you ain't gonna beat us. He said, not by yourself. Now you might. He said, I ain't see nobody like him. But we knew collectively we were not gonna let that happen. That's basketball. That's old school basketball. Not watching some dude shoot free throws or shoot not free throws, but shoot open shots all the time. That's competition. I will watch competition all day long because it's like you care. It's like you care. It's like when Parker may said it best in reference to the WNBA. She goes, I was watching the All-Star game. Y'all didn't play no defense. Y'all was just going out there, just going through the motions. She said, I'm a Hall of Famer, soon to be. And I turned that shit off
Wow.
because y'all weren't competing. She said, I turned it off. She says, you complain about not getting paid. You complain about what you want to be treated equal, but you give a half-ass effort on the court. How are you going to gain new fans like that? She said, I'm a Hall of Famer. I turned that shit off. And the girl was like, well, we retired from last Tuesday because our schedule was so tough and so hectic. Really? If a Hall of Famer says that, what does that say about your league? And you wonder why now you're struggling because your league's going to be messed up because, not to flip it, because now you can't come to an agreement because you want to get paid for something you have not shown us yet that you can get done. And that's providing a product that's profitable.
Hey,
I
speaking on that, I ran into two people in Dread, one of our guys that are on the squad, and I asked him this question, and he's like, "Wow, I didn't think about it like that." And another guy I was talking to about the WNBA, and he was asking me questions about it. I said, "What business do you know of that doesn't make a profit for 28 years that are still in business?" And he was like, whoa. I'm like, that's what they have to face. That's what the
Mhm.
reality is. Your league has not made a profit, has not been in the black for 28 years. Name me some other company that is allowed to exist for 28 years and not make a profit. You have no leverage and no leg to stand on at this particular point. Take what you can get and move on because I guarantee if you go on strike, nobody's looking for you. They don't see it. You can't put it in front of them to make them see it. And so I hope they go on strike. So they realize that maybe I gotta go overseas and play ball because they're not opening up the league here, but you're not giving them nothing. It's not worth. The juice ain't worth the squeeze in this particular point. So, and what we're seeing in the WNBA is horrible basketball. We're seeing that in the NBA. It's horrible basketball, and people are sick of it. That's why when I'm watching a college game, when it's 30 seconds left and teams are fighting for their lives, I'm standing. I can't sit down. I'm standing up. WNBA game or NBA game, I'm sitting there looking at my phone while the game is on. I ain't interested. I'm not interested. And they're not seeing that what they're putting on, the product they're putting on, people are going to start getting tired of it. And just like this pastor who tried to end the Target boycott, folks are like, hell no. No, until you put us first, until you recognize who we are, we're not coming back. And if the NBA and the WNBA don't get their act together, folks aren't coming back. They're not coming back. And so get it together because what you're showing us is not it. You compare it to the college game, even Jay Will said, I've been saying this for years, but he said, hey, the college game is really raised the bar where the NBA is becoming like, okay, I'll watch it if there's nothing else on. But the college game is it right now. And this season, oh my God, this season was full of great games. I don't know how they put the schedule together, where they're getting the teams, what changed, maybe NIL changed and they got more competitive all over the country. But it's mind-boggling. And these 3 weeks are going to be heaven watching basketball, bro. No other sport exists at this particular point in college basketball right now.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like you said, there's a lot of other outstanding factors, but this is the best time for a lot of people to watch basketball. Like you said, we talked about WNBA, and from that standpoint, and we talked about that profit or lack thereof profit, right? And again, it just comes down to how you going to, if you're not making a profit, how are you going to ask for money prior, right? Well, out the gross instead of the net. You can't. Why are you gonna ask for money that you have not proven that you can earn off the top? when you haven't proven that. Now they did receive the new TV contract, but that's still a ways, to go, whatever. So you need at least 2 good years before you start demanding money off the top. Because you haven't shown you know anything. And again, I'm gonna say this before, and y'all gonna be mad at me, some folks, and this has nothing about gender. This is about dollars and cents.
Exactly.
It's about whether or not are you have a product that's bringing something in. Are my expenses more than what I'm investing into it from that standpoint? And you just had to ask yourself that too. So again, and I think the reason why you asked the question as to what business do you know that is allowed to exist for 28 years and not make a profit? And y'all don't want to hear this, but I'm gonna say it because the NBA did not want to hear any backlash because when Title IX was introduced,
Exactly.
they didn't want to hear no backlash. So guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna put this league together. We're gonna let the women play and whatever, and if it makes money, great. If it doesn't, that's cool too. But there's a reason why they put it out there because they wanted to be politically correct with Title IX. Now the women have a better game now. They got a couple of stars and some people, and they got more money being invested. But it's been 28 years. The other part of that too is when you look at the Title IX thing too. There's a reason why I told you this before. The WNBA plays this game in the spring and the summer because it cannot, as you mentioned on the long soliloquy we've been talking about for the last 10 minutes, it cannot compete with the other sports in the fall and the winter. There's a reason for that. Sometimes you have to understand what your niche is, your space is, do well, and enjoy it. That's all you can do. That's it.
All right, we're gonna skip our what's on your mind, son, and go to our last second shot. What's your last second shot this week?
So my last second shot is probably something we continue to rant about, but it came close to home for me again. I'm talking about the UFC. I noticed recently that the Hall of Famer, greatest of all time, whatever you want to call him, John Jones had mentioned he was interested in fighting in this event that's coming up that's going to be held at the White House. And he wanted to be there, he wanted to be on top, and he wanted to be one of the headliners. But apparently, the master of ceremonies, the main guy, head honcho, Dana White, said no. And in fact, when he said if John Jones wants to be a part of this, he mentioned John Jones said it before that he basically felt like Dana White was trying to lowball him. And Dana White says, well, two things. One, he's not talking about John Jones is not reliable. We don't know if he's going to show up. We don't know if he's going to be in shape. We don't know if he's going to change his mind and not fight the guys we want him to fight, some of the bigger names. And it just says, I don't want to do that. And at that point, John Jones says, look, maybe I'll take my ball and go play somewhere else. But with that being said, it's almost like I see both sides with John Jones. Like, I just want to be a part of this. And then the wife's like, oh, you're not the same guy, and I'm not messing with John Jones anymore. But the problem with that is John Jones got a little support, I wouldn't say just in general about what he was saying, but somebody else came out, another legend, and Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, I was gonna
Who's
mention.
a, yeah, she comes out and says, UFC has been lowballing people forever.
Yep.
Now the superstars get their money. She said, but the average person, the lady, they can't survive with their families. They can't feed their families after this. She said, you've been holding on to money for the longest time. And Lord knows, Ronda Rousey is one of the greatest and most celebrated athletes UFC has ever seen. She flipped the script when it came to making it popular for women to fight. She was like the trendsetter. And now she's back doing some things or whatever. And she said it. And if she's saying it, Dana White, what the hell? You might well jump on that boxing because the one thing I think that UFC is failing to do, you and I talked about it before, is we're not seeing any new talent that excites us.
Nope.
Now you got to bring back the retreads. You got to bring back an older John Jones. You got to bring back my girl, the Lioness, Amanda Nunes. Because there's nothing out there. And as Ronda Rousey said, he said this, how is it that somebody like Valentina got to take her clothes off and show you her breasts for her to get some money?
OnlyFans, yeah.
And I'm like, wow, Ronda Rousey put it out there. So, hey, Dana, bruh, give us something. And maybe you need to get Turkey involved in that
I don't want
UFC.
Dana White in boxing, and I'm pretty sure boxers don't want him in boxing because of how they lowball people.
Well, it's too late because I don't think he's gonna be low about people too much in boxing because he got Turkey for right now. So in order for you to compete with the boxers, you're gonna have to pay some people. Now you might have some second ending guys or whatever, but you got Turkey over there. His Excellency, as they like to call him, over there bringing this money in. So that influx of cash early is going to allow them to be players early. Question is, how are you going to be able to float that in unless you're promoting larger, bigger events? Fighting against PBC and the other normal, regular crews, you're still going to be a struggle. And you also have to convince those fighters that are with the traditional organizations to jump ship and play ball with you. So that's where the money's going to come in, and we'll find out what Dana White is bringing to the table.
We posted up a video of Ronda Rousey talking about this very same thing on our Facebook page, The Squad. Check it out, because when I saw it, I was like, whoa, she exposed Dana White in the UFC like nobody else. And the other thing I will say is I'll ask a question. You don't have to answer it. Any black fighters going to be fighting at the White House? I rest my case. All right. My last second shot goes out to Tommy Hearns, and some really devastating news about Tommy Hearns. We knew that his health was declining when his slurred speech, things of that sort. But Tommy Hearns is placed under guardianship and conservatorship after a family court battle, and I guess they were some of the family who was taking care of him, quote unquote, was trying to make money off him with the GoFundMe and all that other stuff, and they weren't really taking care of Tommy. And man, me and Ice talked about this, and we've talked about this for years. Sometimes it be your own people. Sometimes it be your own people. So as Nas used to say in one of his raps, watch those people that are close to you and make sure they're doing what they're supposed to do. All right. Best wishes to the hitman, and hopefully things work out well where you're being taken care of. Do you have anything to say about that particular? Because I know we cover boxing, and Tommy Hearns is a big time favorite of both of us.
No, I agree with what you're saying. I think it's just really shameful and sad that, as you mentioned, it's your own people that are doing this to him, particularly when he doesn't have the faculties, it appears, to handle it for himself. You would think somebody in the family, and they may be at some point, that would just come in and just do the right thing because it's the right thing to do, right? It's kind of like one of them things that why do you have to do good, and somebody has to be watching you to make sure you do the right thing.
Right.
Why you can't just be by yourself and do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. How many people has he taken care of and helped and blessed through the years? And now he's in a position where instead of really trying to help him and making sure that he's comfortable, whatever he needs to be, has the care he needs, you're fighting with somebody else. You guys are squabbling over monies that truly aren't even yours.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So that's the sad thing.
I've seen it play out in my own family, where family members had to go to court to get custody of my grandfather because one family member tried to take advantage of his state. So it be your own family. So watch those people that are close to you because sometimes they don't do what they're supposed to do. It's the ways. That's what Nas said. That's our show. We'll catch you next week.